Lightning 135 minutes here into the 1 o'clock hour with local natives. Just had them in studio last week when they were in town for Ryman Auditorium. And right now, we have Tegan and Sara in the Lightning 100 studio. Welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Happy to have you here on the show today. It's tonight. You're headlining at Cannery Ballroom. They said we get to give away some tickets.
Ooh.
Doors are at 7. Show starts at 8. MercyLounge.com, TeganandSara.com if you want to get those in advance. And we're actually talking here. The opener, Torres, is local. She's based out of Nashville these days.
This is true.
And gonna shred on the guitar.
Oh my God,
gonna shred.
She just like shreds every night. She's amazing.
Yeah.
She's a great vocalist, great songs. We love her.
Fun. Awesome. Well, I'm so happy to have you here. I think it's the first time I've had you on my show. I did get to meet you backstage at Bonnaroo one summer when you came in.
Quite a few years
That's
ago now.
Almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Has it been that long?
Yeah,
Wow.
well, that was the last time we played Bonnaroo, and that was the same trip where we then came back that night and performed with Tiesto, if I recall.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
that was like 2008, 2009, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
You haven't aged at all.
Time flies. No, I have a little bit. I'm getting some gray hair.
A little gray, but no wrinkles at all. Just no wrinkles.
Looking good.
Tegan and Sara. That's good because I just had another birthday, so you start to be like, oh my gosh. I know, that's one of the things I realized that this is your 8th album that you've put out, so you must have been really young when you started this thing.
We always point that out. Like we made probably 2, if not 3 records before most bands usually just put out their first record. We started right out of high school, so we were able to put together a budget and a team and make a record when we were 18 years old. So we were really on it, and but it's been great. It's been a nice ride. I'm glad we had time to develop and get to the place we are now. When I say 8 records, it feels like I'm saying 800 records because it does feel like a lot. But
a few EPs in there too.
They're all full-length records. We really like.
Well, on top of the 8
Oh my God, I know, live records and DVDs. You definitely can't.
We're part of the merchandising era. That's just like you can't like feel ashamed of it. People. There's a lot of emphasis on that, and I think especially now that the music industry is like a Titanic, just like it's like just the tip of the iceberg. We can see it, and I don't know how much longer we'll be selling things like records and DVDs and all of this kind of stuff. So I think for us, we've really enjoyed that era of creating things for people, but we don't know what the future holds.
We had a really amazing fan base that wanted those things and was so cool. Like still to this day, it's like there's a desire from our core fan base to collect everything, and they still want it. They still physically want it. So I think Sara and I are, we're still in love with that part of our industry. The idea of a collection of songs like still resonates with us, but we also
we recognize that maybe the end of times for that.
Right. Well, one of my favorite things is actually the physical copy, because you get to open it up and you wonder, is there anything in here? What am I going to find?
Yeah.
There's
how about just lyrics?
You have the lyrics, which I've always, my entire life, always known the wrong lyrics to songs. As I find out and I'm singing along and someone says, wait, what did you say? No.
Now, we still really appreciate it. We think of it as an art form. We still think of ourselves first and foremost as writers, right? So we've been developing our craft for 20 years. That's what we think, so.
And kind of fun, here on your most recent album, Love You to Death, which came out this summer. One side, you do have the lyrics, and the other side, you have this beautiful photograph.
Yep.
And I look at it, you're identical twins, and then you're sitting here looking into a mirror. So
yeah,
it's kind
of tripping.
Thank you for appreciating that.
Totally. All right. Well, cool. Well, hey, let's have you play a song.
Sure. All right, we're gonna play a song from that new record, "Love You to Death." It's called "Stop Desire." I'm gonna just put it out there, out here on the radio and on Facebook Live, which we're doing that have not properly rehearsed. So I imagine I'll probably screw up. Just stick with me here. Can't deny I'm begging for attention, dropping in, hoping for some tension, getting tired of making all this racket, waiting on you to get your ass in gear. I didn't want to be so invested. I played it cool and then I overdressed it. You were there, I was tired of this nonsense where you pretend you don't get me, feel me, want me, like me, love me, need me tonight. You fuel for my fire, you can't stop desire. Oh, 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 stop desire. Oh, 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 I tried, but you feel through my fire. You can't stop desire. Oh, 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 stop desire. Oh, 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 oh. In a minute I'll be hoping that you're outside. Another second you'll be walking on my wild side. You know I'm ready for anything to happen. Take this passion, turn it into action. Get me, feel me, want me, like me, love me, need me. Tonight you feel for my fire. You can't stop desire. Oh, 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 stop desire. Oh, 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 I tried, but you feel through my fire. You can't stop desire. Oh, 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 stop desire. Oh, 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 right where I want you, back against the wall. Trust when I promise, never let you fall. You're right where I want you, back against the wall. You can trust me, I'll never let you fall. Tonight you feel for my fire. You can't stop desire. Oh, 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 stop desire. Oh, 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 I've tried, but you feel through my fire. You can't stop desire. Oh, 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 stop desire. Oh, 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 oh.
Lightning 100 live in the ONErpm studio. That is Tegan and Sara. It's tonight. They are going to headline at Cannery Ballroom on tour with Torres, who is based out of Nashville, Tennessee. Doors are at 7. Show starts at 8. MercyLounge.com or TeganandSara.com for tickets. And we are going to give away a pair of them for you to have a chance to see this Grammy-nominated Canadian duo featuring the twin sisters, Tegan and Sara. You worked again with Greg Kurstin, producer, and I realized this, it's been 15 years. He put out a really cool record. Do you know what I'm going to say?
Is it I don't know which one, Bird and the Bee or the Gay Guitar? Was that
okay? So Action Figure Party.
Okay.
I don't know if it was something that's like totally under the radar, but it's one that I've kept in my collection all these years. Yeah, Gay Guitar.
Yeah, Gay Guitar as well. I mean, Greg was one of those producers that often we've sort of kind of found our own path and have really taken very little instruction from record labels in terms of who to work with and what to do. But with Heartthrob, our last record, we did actually sort of open up the channels and said, like, to a lot of people in our world, who would you like us to try to work with and make a pop record? And Greg Kurstin was on a bunch of people's lists, and based on the fact that he had been in bands, he's toured with bands, he's been a musical director, he's produced bands, we felt he was a good bridge for us because we really did see ourselves coming from the indie rock world, and we're nervous about jumping straight into the pop world and not getting along with that production style or that process. And because he'd sort of been from the world that we were firmly planted in, he seemed like a good tour guide, and we love him. So we've made now 2 records with him, and I mean, we just absolutely adore him. I think he's a genius.
Wow.
Yeah, I think he really is a genius. I mean, he would be embarrassed and say that that's not true, but there's certainly something prodigious about his talent and the way that he can sort of jump from instruments, and he, for us, has sort of he's sort of ushered us into what I think is sort of a futuristic version of recording that really appeals to us. I know it doesn't appeal to the analog kind of old school folks, but for us, Tegan and I have really, even since we were like teenagers, always used recording as a way to hear ourselves and edit ourselves. And the process of recording in that way, almost purely digital is super attractive. So, he's just a great creative collaborator. We love him.
Both times did you work in? Does he have a studio that you went and worked in? Or?
Yeah. Both. I mean, in both cases, there was a couple different. I mean, with Heartthrob, we worked in a couple different studios. This one, we just worked in his studio. He was sort of building it when we were making Heartthrob, so it was nice to return there. We were very comfortable, and he works a very manageable amount of time a day. Like, he's very respectful of his family and his health and his mind, and he doesn't overwork. There's none of these 16-hour epic recording sessions. There's no, let's mic these drums drums for the next 2 days and get sounds, which, I mean, it's not to be cynical. Sarah and I, like I was saying earlier, we love our craft and love being a part of this industry, and we're, I think, as positive and as excited as we were the day we started. But there was definitely a point where we realized most people are listening to music now on like iPhone, speakers or little headphones or out of their computers, and like there was sort of like maybe we as our band, because it's more about the songs and our singing and the melodies and lyrics and whatever, that we didn't need to spend 2 days getting drum sounds. And in the end, I think we end up finding sounds we really like. I mean, like Sarah was saying, we use our demoing process as a way to sort of reflect back to us what we're doing, and I think we're able to sort of hone in on what we want before we even get into the studio, so we don't need to use as much time in the studio pulling our hair out, which has been really refreshing. And Greg has definitely ushered us into that era.
How has it been taking this record on the road and doing it live?
It's been actually pretty easy. We had a really amazing musical director that came in and helped us sort of figure out what needed to be reproduced live and what didn't. I think,
and also how do you fit 7 other albums that don't sound like this album into a live show. I think we've got to the point now where what is required is kind of an outside source to go like, okay, here's the songs you want to play. Here's how I propose that you perform them in a way that doesn't feel like you're going to give your audience audio whiplash. Like, how do we make this thing cohesive?
Well, how do you make it feel fresh, right? Like some of the songs, there's a couple songs we're playing in the set that we wrote and recorded in 2003 and 2004. And so how do we update those songs but still treasure and, honor the original recording? So, yes, like Sarah said, an outside source can really help do that. So it's been really fun. But like Love You to Death itself was actually a really easy record to get ready for the live show, because I think it was a little less dense than our previous work, and so a lot of the key ingredients to make the songs live in a live space came really easily. And Sarah and I were more diligent. We actually rehearsed and practiced and have been building core muscles to sing well, and
finally decided rehearsing it was a great idea.
As a fan of music, it's really fun when you hear it done a little bit differently, maybe with a different arrangement.
Sure.
I remember one time Feist came into that same backstage studio and had different arrangements on her songs. And I just loved it.
As long as it's recognizable. My thing is when I go to see a band play and they play all the songs and I leave thinking what did I even just hear? I actually, it's sort of a big name drop, but it's I love Madonna and the way that Madonna is able to reimagine those classic songs live. I mean, she's been playing that stuff for over 20 years and it still sounds super fresh. And it also feels like she's not... It doesn't feel cheesy. She's oh, what's popular? Electronic music. I'm going to just do that. It feels like she's always taking the most innovative sounds or whatever's current and blending that with those songs that are so still relevant to me.
I loved your Madonna voice. That was really cool.
Yeah, that's how she probably talks, I think.
I'm Tegan and Sara here in the ONErpm studio. Tonight, they're headlining a Cannery Ballroom, Torres opening. You said you were going to do a new one and an old one. What's the old one?
Well, we're actually, in a few months here, we'll be hitting the 10-year anniversary of a record called The Con.
Sure, yeah.
So we've been doing kind of a little mini con set in the middle of our headline set, which we'll be doing tonight. But we're going to play you The Con in honor of us being really old.
The entire album. So here we go, 47 minutes.
I'm going to tune first.
Yeah, we're in Nashville. Get a grip. You can't. There we go.
See, I know how to use a guitar.
Yes, I'm guilty of this, you should know this. I broke down and wrote you back before you had a chance to forgotten. I am moving past this, giving notice. I have to go, yes, I know the feeling, know you're leaving. Calm down, I'm calling you to say I'm capsized, staring on the edge of safe. Calm down, I'm calling back to say I'm home now, I'm coming around, I am coming around. Nobody likes to, but I really like to cry. Nobody likes me, maybe if I cry. Spat out your name, now list the reasons, faint of heart, don't call me back. I imagine you, yes, I was distant, not insistent. I followed suit and laid out on my back. Imagine that, a million hours left to think of you and think of that. Calm down, I'm calling you to say I'm capsized, staring on the edge of safe. Calm down, I'm calling back to say I'm home now, I'm coming around, I am coming around. Nobody likes to, but I really like to cry. Nobody likes me, maybe if I cry. Encircle me, I need to be taken down. 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 Nobody, 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 nobody. Encircle me, I need to be taken down. Encircle me, I need to be taken down. Encircle me, I need to be taken down.
Lightning 100, Tegan and Sara live here in the ONErpm studios tonight. They're going to be headlining at Cannery Ballroom out at the Mercy Lounge complex, mercylounge.com or teganandsara.com if you want to grab a ticket. Torres opening for Tegan and Sara. Doors are at 7, show starts at 8 o'clock, and I do get to give away a pair of tickets. Before we let you leave, maybe we can have some fun here. This is what we call the lightning round.
Okay.
All right, and so this is where I ask you 5 different questions, and you just give us the first thing that pops in the head.
Okay.
Nice and easy. Okay, so you're back from tour. You open up your fridge. What's the first thing that you see?
Oh, I know for sure what's in there. I know that the night before we left, I ordered some soup, and I just left it in this Tupperware, so like the leftovers. So I'm going to see that when I get home, which is sad.
That was Tegan's boring answer. Mine is usually I get home from tour and there's molded bread and alcohol.
Awesome. Okay, so this doesn't have to necessarily be your favorite album, but for whatever particular reason, what album do you think you've listened to the most? What album?
I was just home and organizing. I had a minute, and I was organizing my vinyl collection, which was a gift from my stepdad. It's his original 70s and 80s vinyl collection. And I have a lot of Bruce Springsteen, and we grew up listening to Bruce Springsteen. So I'm going to say, we probably listened to Tunnel of Love thousands of times. I mean, every summer, over and over and over again. We would drive 10 hours to Vancouver. I knew every note. It was awesome.
Nice.
And I don't think I'll ever listen to anything as much as I listen to Smashing Pumpkins' Siamese Dream.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. When I was in high school, my band, one of the songs we did was Today. So.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Great song. Changed my life, that song.
What year did you graduate high school?
1997.
97.
Yeah.
Okay. I was 95, so I was kind of close. So in that zone. Okay, so if you could be in a band, doesn't matter if the band still exists or not, what band would you like to be a member of?
My God, that's a good one. Right now, I feel like the people who I see online who look like they're just having the best time and well-deserved because they're the nicest people, 21 Pilots.
Oh,
so I would join up in a second. In fact, they have room. I mean, there's only 2 of them out there. I mean, take us.
My oldest daughter has turned me into a fan.
They're fantastic.
I think I know all their songs.
They're great. They're
great
so
guys
great.
too, just like the nicest people. It's always
Really?
nice when you meet people and they're fantastic people, because then I feel like you root for them extra hard.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a really tough one. I mean, I'm always obsessed with Robin, and
It could be Robin's little sidekick.
yeah, maybe she does a record where she's like Robin featuring Sarah.
Love it.
Let's hang out.
Awesome. Okay. Here's another one. If you could exist inside of a movie or TV show, what movie or TV show?
All right, well, last night I watched the new season of Black Mirror, which is on Netflix. If no one here has checked it out, you should. I think it originally was like a BBC thing or something, but now it's a Netflix original. And
What's it called? Tell me about it.
It's called Black Mirror, and it's, sort of like a look into the very near future. It's usually related to technology, so there are these almost every episode feels incredibly depressing and awful about what the future is related to technology, but this season I've got a couple episodes episodes left, but fantastic. Episode 4 in particular. I'm not going to ruin it for anyone, but the answer to the question is I would live inside that episode and that world and that vision of what the world could be.
Black Mirror.
Yeah.
All right. Adding that to the list of things to binge watch.
It's really fantastic.
It's worth it. It's so great. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I always sort of go back to one of the movies, like similar to your question about what have you listened to so much. I've probably watched my like go-to Sunday or like sad movie is Grosse Pointe Blank with John Cusack. Like I would just live in that world. It's like my go-to happy place.
Like a hired contract killer.
Yeah, he is. But he goes back to his he goes back and takes stock of his life through the lens of high school. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Okay, one more. If you could go into the Matrix and download a skill, what skill would you want to have? Just nice and easy, just know it really well.
God,
Kung Fu.
Yeah, I would probably. I meuld want to be able to leap off tall buildings. Like, I have like as I've gotten older, a weird fear of heights or like falling. I dream about falling a lot, so I would like the ability to land safely.
It's a tough one for me. I just don't understand. Am I supposed to be picking a superhero thing? Like I can like.
No, you could learn Japanese.
Oh yeah. Oh well, then I would just learn French.
French.
That's my Matrix skill.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having fun with us in the station today.
Thanks for having us.
Tegan and Sara, tonight they headline Cannery Ballroom. Torres is opening. She shreds.
She's the best.
That'll be happening at 8 o'clock. It did say it was an all-ages show. TeganandSara.com, MercyLounge.com, or be the third caller through right now if you want to get in to the show tonight at 615-777.